Alright, 8.3, page 147, find the surface area of a cone. Cone, even though it's only two-dimensional versus, or sorry, surface area, even though it's only two-dimensional versus three-dimensional, it's like, hey, what is this flat surface here? It tends to be a lot more complicated than volume, because there's sometimes things with a cone that you're not quite gonna account for. So if you look on bottom page 147, it's got that cone right there. And remember we talked about this right here, what's the name, what's this? This is actual height, if you go straight down. But right here is called slant height. And if you look at what that's actually gonna be, think about what's actually covering the surface area, well the bottom of that is the cone, and then you've got, I'm gonna try to draw it as best I can. That, it's kind of like a semicircular looking thing, that is what the whole surface of area, everything is that's covered. So, just thinking about that. Over on page 149, it gives you the formula for it, and it says, hey, for this part, obviously it's what? Yeah, pi r squared. But for this right here, it says pi r, and then it's got, what's that? Oh, it looks like a what?
L.
An L for what? Well, yeah, but it's different than a regular L. A regular L just looks like this. Why would it make the L like this and not like that? What? Yeah, doesn't it look like a 1? So anytime you see L in math, it's always going to be the cursive L. This is L, not for length, but for the slant height. Because otherwise it would do H for height. No, but it's pi radius L. So the radius, yeah, this is one, I can explain most of the other surface area or volume ones. This is one, I'm not gonna lie, I don't perfectly understand it myself, but pi RL and pi r squared. So if formula for here, I would put surface area for cone is pi r squared plus pi r l. Star it, circle it, highlight it, write little notes by it that says, hey, this is muy importante, whatever it is. It's already up on YouTube if you want to look up. That's for use, but this is for A1 math. Grade 7th grade. I can ask them for your assignment if you want it. Or you can look on YouTube for the assignment. It was only like 9 minutes. The whole lesson was like 9 minutes, so it's not long.
So wait, what does the essay stand for?
What does the what stand for?
Essay?
Surface area. You'll always put V, oftentimes, so V, before I did V for V cone, and I would have been,
Okay, so the shape you just drew is like the cone unwrapped, is that what you're saying?
yeah, this is the cone unwrapped. I mean, the circle is obvious, but this right here, not quite as intuitive, but that's pi r squared, this is pi r l. And it is actually important to know what each thing stands for, because there's gonna be parts of this section later on that they're gonna say, hey, break this up, or think, if you're painting a cone, but you're only painting the top of the cone, you're not painting the bottom, well, for surface area then, you're not gonna do this whole thing. You're gonna do this whole thing minus what? If you're not painting the bottom of the cone, what part of this would you get rid of?
The circle part.
Yeah, the circle part, which is pi r squared. So you would only do pi r l for that specific cone. And if you're at any point you really want to think, hey, I want to figure out exactly what the surface of the area this is, well, that's how you can figure it out. Anyways, bottom of page 150. Anyone still need this? Okay. Or top of page 150, I should say. We write down what we know. It says diagram shows a cone with a radius of 5 centimeters, slant height of 15. Radius 5 centimeters, slant height of 15. So that's supposed to be centimeters. What is the exact area of the curved surface? So pi r l, that's what we're looking for, because that's the curved surface. And it said exact area. What do we remember from the last lesson? Yeah, just use the pi symbol, exactly. So we're going to leave the pi here. We don't replace it with 3.14 or 22/7 or anything else. We just leave it as pi. Radius 5 and slant height 15. 5 times 15 is, break it up, 5 times 10 and 5 times 5. 5 times 10 is 15, 5 times 5 is, add those together, you get 75. And anytime you have pi, you could technically say, hey, pi times 75, but what we're actually wanting to think, it's usually considered more proper in math to put pi afterwards. I mean, they are both numbers, but it kind of looks like a variable here. It's not a variable, but it kind of is a variable because it is a symbol for another number that we just don't have an exact number for. So anytime you have it, I would put the pi afterwards. And the label is centimeters squared because it's surface area. Then bottom part, it says, what's the total surface area of the cone? Find both the exact value and the approximate value. Use 3.14 for this one. So now we need to find pi r squared. It says find exact and approximate. Which one do you think we want to find first? Exact or approximate? Yeah, exact. Why do we want to find exact first? Well, it's because it's exact, because everything's in terms of pi already. You don't need to, once you have the exact answer, then you can just multiply it by 3.14 and you have the approximate answer. If you try to find the approximate answer, you're going to have to do a lot more multiplying by 3.14. You would do a radius squared. This is 25 pi. That's the circle. So you've got 25 pi for the circle, 75 pi for the curved surface, and then you add them together, you've got 100 pi centimeters squared. So this would be your answer for the exact, and then from there you can just say, hey, I'm going to do 100 times 3.14, which is just what? 314. Think. 3.14 times 100. Just move the decimal place twice. 314 centimeters squared. Always, always, always. Make it a little note in your section if you want or whatever, but always do exact first. Yeah, I'll put it in red. Always do exact first. All right, let's do. Well, that's pretty similar. Let's do 11. Gotta practice 11. If you get done with it, you're done with 11, you can go back and do number 10. Okay, let's start. What are we given? Okay, and what are we trying to find? Of the whole cone? Oh, curved surface, sorry. And then B, we're trying to find what?
I just have a question before we
Yeah.
get the answer. Was the answer supposed to be like 36 pi inches squared, or that?
Look at the question. What is the exact what is the exact area of the curved surface? Is that supposed to be in pi, or in you actually do the multiplication?
I actually did the multiplication.
What does exact mean? Exact means always what? She can help you. Exact is always in terms of what? Hello? Exact is always in terms of what? There.
So the answer is
She would-
36 pi inches squared then?
Yes.
Okay.
And then for the second one, it is what's the surface area of the cone? Cone, that's all. So this is literally working the exact same way. So exact surface area formula for this is pi RL. Pi, you said we just want exact, so we leave that pi there. Radius 3, L 12, 3 times 12, so our final answer is 36. 36 pi, and it's inches squared. Yep. And then for cone, we just need to add the what? Yeah, pi radius squared. Pi, we're leaving as pi for right now because we always figure out exact pi first. And the radius is 3, so 3 squared is 9, so we have 9 pi here. 9 pi plus 36 pi is 45 pi inches squared. So that would be one of our answers for B, but it said B, the instructions say find the exact and find the approximate, which now means we multiply it times 3.14. This is when you use your calculators and you get times 3.14. There you go, 141.3 inches squared, which my book confirms that is the right answer. Okay, for example 12, 12 and 13, those examples, I'm just going to go over the examples. I'm not going to do the guided practice. You can go back and do them on your own if you want, but the basic thing is I just want you to know that you know how to work these. The only things for 12 and 13, well, we'll do 12 first. How about that? 12, example, not the guided practice. Wrapper frozen yogurt cone has an area of 159. It says the wrapper of a cone. What does that mean? The wrapper of a frozen yogurt cone has an area of 159 square centimeters. Radius is 4, and it says slant height. Find the slant height. What does this mean, though? The wrapper of a cone. What? Which is the what part of the formula? The what? The curved surface. Are you including, think about it, for what they talked about in there, did they say that there was, the circle was included? No, they didn't. Exactly, they did not say the circle was included, so we don't include it for what we're trying to find, because look at what the question asked. It says, find this, it says, the wrapper of a frozen cone has an area of 159. Area of wrapper, you can even look at what it says right there, area of wrapper, pi RL, which is what we're trying to find. If there are ones on the assignment that you're not sure what it's asking, come and ask me about it. And say, hey, Mr. Brunel, I'm just not sure. Is it asking for part of the formula? Is it asking for all of the formula? it will do this for several problems throughout the whole assignment. So it might do that for the surface area of a pyramid, it might do that for the surface area of a cylinder, it might do that for any of them. That's why we always talk about, hey, why does each part represent, why does each part of the formula represent each different part of the formula that it does?
I realize that.
Can I help you?
Sorry, that was a lot.
So pi is pi, for now at least. Our radius is 4, and the lateral surface area, do we know what that is? No, so we have to leave that as L. Well, what do we do now? What did I forget? Because we have one other thing, what's this?
This minus this square. No, these squares.
So what am I missing here? So step 1 is always you write down what you know. Step 2 is write down the formula. Always has a what in it? Always has an equal sign. Pi RL equals what? Well, yeah, but pi RL is the, think about the actual formula. And I said, hey, write down star circle it. Pi RL is it's the surface area of the, I'm just going to say curve for right now because I don't have the space to write it, but it's the surface area of the curved surface, which if you want to add this formula to your arsenal, go ahead and add that formula to your arsenal. The bigger thing is that you have the surface area of a cone is pi RL plus pi r squared, but then you just have to know, hey, pi r squared is a circle, which you guys do, pi RL is the actual curved surface. So this equals the curved surface, this is the area of the curved surface, 159. So what do we do here? Do we get rid of this pi, right? Do we turn the pi into 3.14 right away, or what? It's going to probably be a little bit easier to say, hey, I divide by 4, get this as pi times L, equals 159 over 4, which is, what, calculator friends? First student to figure it out is 159 divided by 4. 39.75. And what do you have to do with 39.75 to get what L is? Nope, this is being multiplied by here. To get pi off the side, you don't multiply it, you... Yeah, so divide that by pi now. 39.75 divided by 3.14 is 12 point something. What is it?
12.65923567.
Hey, round to the nearest tenth. 12.5.
12.65.
So 12.7. And this is what, inches? Centimeters. Look back, double check, is that what they asked? They said find the slant height to the nearest tenth. Yep, that's what we did. Look in your books on page 151, that was the right answer, 12.7. Guided practice number 12, it works similar. It says it has a diameter of 16. If you have the diameter, then yes, you write that down as what you know, but you're gonna have to figure out what first before you put it in the formula. If they give you the diameter, you want the radius, so you're going to have to figure out, hey, what's half of that before you put it in your formula. But they do the same thing. Lateral surface area of the hat is 251.2. Find the approximate slant height. Again, you're trying to find the slant height. If you have a hat, is there a surface area on the bottom of the hat? No, unless you're balancing the hat on top of your head. You don't balance it, you just put it right on top of your head. You balance it on top of your head? Okay, here's the weirdo, which we weren't surprised about, but you do the same thing to figure it out as what you did here. And then example 13, the difference on that one, it says a cone-shaped roof has a radius of 14. Here, we'll work on this on a new one. Cone-shaped roof has a radius of 14 feet and a slant height of 17. Radius of 14 feet, slant height of 17 feet. So I don't know why you would want a cone-shaped roof, but these people have it. And it actually looks like it's made out of glass. And it says completely covered with glass, so maybe it's like an architecture thing or something like that. The thing here is, it also says glass costs $40 per foot. So once you figure out what the surface area around it is, you're gonna have to do what? To figure out the cost. So given these two things, you can figure out what the surface area around that part of the roof is, right? It's pi RL still, because there's no bottom glass part. But let's say that it's 200 square feet. If you know that it's $50 per, it's actually $50 per square foot. You're gonna have to do what with it? If you had 2 square feet, it would cost how much? One square foot costs $40, 2 square feet would cost 3 square feet would cost $120, so you're multiplying it afterwards. That's the other thing that you're figuring out. You gotta multiply by that afterwards, because they're saying, hey, you're figuring out this per square foot. So you would actually go and do this again, equals the surface area of the curve. Pi we don't know, radius is 17, that is 14. 14 times 17 is,
This
what?
triangle here, could do this triangle here, right? It's a rectangle. But if you just get it, 238.
Okay, and it's 238 pi.
This is 6 versus 8.
238 pi is,
809.2.
809.2.
think so.
No.
What?
No, 238 times pi is not 809.2. Did something wrong on your calculator.
747.32.
Yes, 747.3. Can you show him how to use a calculator? I don't think
No,
he's
I
done it.
just didn't type. I typed the number wrong.
I
It's
just
in
do
pi.
answer and then.
Hey, Madison.
Yep. Hey, if her knowledge of a calculator is more expounded than yours, that's
It's
okay.
not. Oh, it's not.
So 747, I'm just going to say 747.3. If you wanted to be more exact, because we are multiplying this by 40 feet per first square foot, because this is 747.32 square feet. Was it exactly 32? Okay, so if you're trying to have the most exact answer, and think, in real life, you actually would want the most exact answer, because that's what they're going to charge you for. 747.32 square feet, but it's $40 per square foot, so then I just multiply that times 40, and I get what?
I got 29892.8.
Yep, say it again.
29,892.8.
80 cents. Yep. And that is why art buildings cost a lot of money. $30,000 to cover that thing in glass. $30,000. Fun fact, if you ever buy, probably when, hopefully when for all of you, you buy a house, windows are super expensive to replace. Super expensive.
I'm gonna live in
I'm not gonna have the window, I'm gonna live in back room.
No, you're not.
I don't like light.
Nah, you're gonna like it more.
My brother broke a window with a rock over church. It was massive.
I live in a room with
That
no
would be a big
light.
deal. Alright, so your assignment is gonna be 9, 10, and 15. I'm gonna look over those really quick. 9 is pretty similar to what you guys have done. 10 is also similar, except it gives you the diameter instead of the radius. And 15, wow, they give you even easier ones than what we did. So you're not even gonna have to deal with the multiplying by 40 square feet for the assignment. But yeah, you're just gonna have to figure out lateral surface area and total volume. Oh, lateral surface area, actually one of them does ask about volume too though. So 9, 10, 15.